Hey, this is Chuck Billy from Testament, and if you're not in the now, you're in the nothing.
So the big Anthrax Testament Death Angel tour is just getting underway.
Getting underway.
How's the first few shows been going so far?
They've been the crowd's been amazing. I mean, we have, you got to iron out the bugs production wise and set wise and all that stuff, but it's getting sorted out. But the show and the crowd's been great. I think everybody's got a real strong set.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a real thrash show.
Nice.
For sure.
Awesome. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Now, was it difficult when you guys were sitting down working on the set list for this tour?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you guys have such a catalog of just, I mean, not radio hits, but I mean, the Testament catalog, there's so many just badass songs there.
It's real tough because, especially last year, we did like over almost 300 something shows on the Formation record.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've some of the tours only had 30 minutes, some 40, some a little longer. So, of course, you got to play the classic stuff, Over the Wall, Into the Pit, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play that. So when we were approaching this tour, we're like, well, we've been playing those for years. Let's try pick some other stuff. So we put it to set together, and once we started practicing it and going through it, we're like, those are great songs and stuff, but I think for this thrash tour, we got to come out with guns blazing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to those classics got to get back in there. We got to put back Over the Wall, put back Into the Pit, and Disciples of the Watch,
Oh, yeah.
The Preacher, all that stuff. The only one we have never played in, probably since you've seen us 20 years ago or more, was NB Life on Practice What You Preach.
Nice.
So that's a new one we slipped in there.
Nice.
We were going to do Trail of Tears, but we're like, this let's not mellow it out and do a ballad on this. Let's just pick some mid-paced songs like Souls of Black, Envy Life, songs like that.
Mm-hmm.
No ballads. So I think it's what finally ended up being a pretty strong set.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you guys doing anything new in the set that the fans haven't heard yet?
Well, we're playing like The Persecuted Won't Forget off the Formation record.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't cover that a lot last year. The Henchman off the Formation record.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two newer songs that we really didn't play a lot last year, or that last record cycle. So those are probably only the two new ones. Everything else, is classic stuff,
Mm-hmm. Now, how did the whole Anthrax Testament tour come about?
Well, it started at one point, earlier in the year, we had the same management. We both had the same manager, and he had mentioned it, putting it together, and talked to our agents, and next you know, kind of the ball was kind of rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But in midstream, we both got rid of our manager, common manager, and so we still moved forward with our agents and decided, because Anthrax was a band that we went on tour with, the very first tour in 1987.
Mm-hmm.
First band we ever toured with in Europe and America. So we haven't played with them probably since then.
Wow.
So when the opportunity came up, we were like, it sounds like a great plan, because we actually, in 2005, when we got the original band with Louis, Alex, and Greg,
Mm-hmm.
we were asked if we wanted to play a show with Anthrax in Holland, because they were getting their original lineup back together, and it'd be cool if Testament get your original lineup back together. So I'm like, actually, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a call into all the guys, and everybody's like, yeah, that sounds like it'd be fun. And so what turned into one show turned into 5, and then to 10, and then to 30, and then half a year and a year.
Snowballed after that.
And here we are, still going.
Mm-hmm. Now, having Alex back in the band, how does that feel?
That's been great. We've always been friends over the years since he left the band.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like there was a bad vibe or anything like that. We were all young and dumb and doing our own things and drinking. Everybody had their own opinions, and that's the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex grew up in the band, started this band when he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
So Alex knew from 15 to 23, 24 years old, that's all I knew was Testament in the Road.
Mm-hmm.
So he really wanted to expand and try other things and do other stuff, which he did. You know, he went to school and got a degree in music, and over the years had the opportunity to come play with us a couple times, just step in whenever we came through New York. And he did played on the Lamb of God record, you know, a couple songs. And I think that kind of got his feet wet a little bit back in metal. And after my illness in 2001, he came to a benefit performance, and we asked him if he'd want to play on our First Strike Still Deadly record, which was a re-recording of like some of our old songs we re-recorded. And he said sure. So that kind of was breaking the ice, getting him kind of back with us, and you know, talking to him. He was like, you know, doing those Lamb of God records and doing all those records, he kind of was like, wow, this is a good band, but you know what, I kind of came from a good band, thrash band too, you know. And so he kind of, you know, when it all came together, it was, you know, I always feel things happen for a reason. You know, maybe I got ill so we'd all get back together, I don't know, but here we are, and it feels great right now because we all feel that we get a second chance to make it right and finish what we started together. You know, if we're going to end our career one of these days, we've been doing 25 years, we're going to do it together. You know, if we're going to get bigger success, we're going to do it together. You know, so we're feeling pretty good, and having those guys back in the mix and with us, it really does bring our confidence level up with these songs that we play, the original stuff, because we've had some great musicians play with us, drummers, guitar players, but it's never been exactly like the original band. And when we had our very first rehearsal with the original band, it was like, yep, that's it, that's the sound right there, and we just had a smile on my face, and that we knew that's it. So you know, it definitely makes it something special, you know. So it's killer, and here we get to do it with the Anthrax. You know, it's kind of like
kind of comes full circle both
man.
ways.
So exactly. So here we are with original guys, did it 20-something years ago. Here we are, get a second chance to do it again, and play some of those songs we played 20-something years ago again with full confidence this time, instead of a bunch of young kids that never been on the road and never knew what to expect from our career. But now we have a good vision and a focus, and feel pretty good where we're at.
And how's your health?
My health's great right now. After 10 years clean of being from the cancer.
Nice.
And every year's checkup has been positive. I get another checkup coming here in December, and so that'll be 11 years.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Someone looking out for you.
I hope. Yeah.
Now, what a lot of fans might not know about you is you're a avid golfer.
Yeah.
How did you first get involved with wanting to play golf?
Well, I played every sport growing up as a kid. I was an athlete, playing everything, you know. So I played golf since I was really young. I did anything, any sport I could try, I did it. I wouldn't say I'm the best golfer, but I tried to take lessons, and it screwed me up and screwed my head up. So I hold the club like a baseball bat and just get the ball down straight as I can.
Nice.
And that's all I do. I have fun. I just enjoy the fact that, like, especially being on the road, you get away from all of this and go out amongst the wilderness and chill out and smoke a cigar and, you know, tip one back and chill, you know. And that, to me, that's pretty relaxing. And before we started this tour, we were fortunate enough to golf. We took the bus across country, me and one of our techs and my wife, and we golfed every day across country to the first show.
Wow.
So
nice.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did we had a good
Get
time.
to play some pretty awesome golf courses.
Some pretty awesome places, but we're planning on our way now. Next week, we're going to play in Las Vegas at the TPC, which is a place where they play, like, pros go and play, and then we're going to go in LA and play Trump National down there, and
nice.
So we got it planned out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ever get any odd looks from some of the old time golfers getting out there with the long hair?
I always get those looks, you know. they always, especially when they're coming up on you and they're trying to push you and rush you, and, you know, where Yeah, everybody has a good hole and bad hole, you know. So we just gotta
Go out there and have a good time with
go
it.
have a good time. You know, we're in no rush. If they want to pass us, go ahead. You know, we don't care. You know.
Nice. Now, what about a New Testament record? What's the status of that?
It's done. I have 3 songs left to sing. I think it's going to be a very strong record. It's the first record in a long time that we felt really confident before the record was done. A lot of the last 2 or 3 records, we knew we had some good songs, but we didn't know how good it was until we sat down and listened to the record start to finish. Where this record is a lot different. We know just by doing the demos and hearing some of the songs on their own, they all have a life of for themselves right now. Where before, we had to listen all as a whole. And this, I think the beauty of this album is we didn't have anybody breathing down our necks and hurry. And we really took our time and made sure it was right. And I think it was really the Testament record that it's supposed to be right now. Like the last couple records were really more just outright, you know, power and thrash, and that's always been our style. But I think this one has power and thrash, but it has, I'd say, elements of like Practice What You Preach, where vocally I do more singing on it. It's more melodic, but the music's classic Testament, and there's some thrash on it, so it's really strong. I mean, we feel really good. I think I let the producer for the first time ever produce me, where I always come in thinking I know better than anybody, and I do it my way. This time I wanted Andy Sneed to come in and produce me. I wanted to be produced, so he had me singing stuff that I wouldn't have normally sang on my own, notes I wouldn't have reached for. And so now that I'm listening to it, I'm very happy and very proud of what I did. And it's like, man, I should have like, you know, trusted somebody a while ago on this, because some of our records probably would have been different, you know. So it's a good thing, you know, and that's why I think really feel good about it. Everybody I've listened to some of this stuff, the demos and stuff, they're like, wow, you know, it's going to be good, you know. So, and Gene Hoglan got to play drums on it.
Yeah.
He came in and kicked ass. So.
Oh yeah. And you have him out on the road with you, right?
Right now, no. Gene's going to come in. John Tempesto's on the road with us.
Oh,
John played on our Low record, and he plays in the Cult right now.
Yeah.
He's out here doing the tour, and then Gene's going to come in for 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks, Johnny has to go do some Cult shows, and so Gene's going to step in for 2 weeks and kick ass, I'm sure.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, he's one hell of a drummer.
Yeah, he is.
Definitely a perfect fit for Testament.
He is for this record. I think because of the songs, they're just not straight thrash where you can have a thrash drummer, which Gene's probably one of the best thrash drummers out there. But it has a lot more to offer than that, than just the thrash. So Eric really pushed Gene to the limit too on drumming, and it's Gene feels really good at when Gene was done. He's like, wow, this is going to be good. You know, he really got pushed over the top. Not just straight thrash. So there's a lot of good stuff on it, and Gene came through. He came in. Well, actually, before we found out Paul was injured. Well, we knew Paul was injured. We didn't know when he was going to be ready to play. So we kind of stalled the record a little bit. And once we were ready to go, we said, okay, we got to get in the studio. So contacted Gene and Dave Lombardo. And they both were into doing it. But Dave, we worked on The Gathering. We'd like, man, we'd love to work with Dave again. The schedule wouldn't work with our schedule. He wanted to do it a little later, so we wanted to do it sooner. So we're like, dang, that ain't gonna work. So we called Gene, and Gene's like, I'm ready to go now. So get on, come on, Gene. So Gene was the man. So we had 2 monster drummers to help us out, which you know, it's good to have good friends.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. Yeah. Now, have you guys talked about a release date for the new record?
It's gonna be the last week of April, the first week of May, somewhere around there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the
Dark Roots of Earth.
Nice. I was getting ready to that was my next question, was the title of the record. How did you guys decide on calling it that?
Eric usually comes up. He's more of the creative guy with the artwork and everything, and he came up with it. You know, we had a couple other ones that weren't really hitting us. And then when the first time he said, "Yeah, the Dark Roots of Earth," we're like, "Yeah, okay," because we're always kind of playing it conscious and that kind of was right back into like the New Order kind of stuff. You know, it's like the Dark Roots were. Yeah, we like that, especially having a lot of the original guys back in. It's kind of going back to your roots. You know, and it just sounded right.
Now Testament's been around for 2 decades plus. What's been your staying power? What do you think's kept you guys together and not giving up on the whole thing?
Well, I think that we all still think we're kids. I guess I don't know. We all feel young at heart and feel like we did 20 years ago. Still kind of trying to accomplish something. And when you write a song and you create a song, like there's been some songs that we wrote, like on the last record, me and Eric lost our fathers over the last couple of years, so we had wrote a song called The Afterlife. And when you write songs, like when you just get in a room with the guys and you start playing, and the lyrics there and the melodies there and the patterns are there, and it just kind of falls together like that. Those are the moments that when you kind of sit back and go, wow, you know, that it's just right. That song is just meant to be. And the payoff on that, the feeling of it is like, you feel really good in that you come, because usually writing is the worst time for any musician. Most of the time it's just beat your head on the ground, unless you're a guy who writes all year round, but we don't do that. So when it's time to write a record, it's kind of like, oh man, here we go, Jesus, I can't wait till it's done, you know. So when you do create that stuff, which we've been fortunate with Alex and everybody just jamming, coming up with a lot of ideas and creating songs pretty quick, we're like, this is right, you know, it's feeling right. And I think right now that's probably where we're at. That is really keeping us going, is having those guys around with us, and like I said, seeing it out to the end, starting somewhere finish somewhere we started. So
nice. So what's next for Testament after the Anthrax tour? Are you going to finish the record?
We'll finish the record. I got 3 songs to sing, and then we're off to mix it, and we'll start our promo campaign like mid-January next year, off to Europe, off to the U.S., and you know, we might debut a song around the NAMM show. We're trying to get to play on the NAMM show in January. Nice. So that's when we'll really start making noise about the record.
Cool. All right. Well, man, I think that covered just about everything. Is there any last comments you want to toss in?
I think you got it all.
Nice. Well, thanks for taking time to chat with us today, man. Really appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.